What is up, everyone? Jay here with some more Fire Emblem Heroes, and today we're going to take a look at this year's wedding slash bridal slash groom banner, and it is for Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War. So good for the JUGDRALTS fans. You get your JUGDRALTS, as I like to call them, and the first hero is going to be Seliph. So Seliph is looking clean, definitely nice suit and everything, and it's nice that it's not entirely a girl banner. So we do have one guy. He's a Axe Cavalier this time, and he's going to be pretty strong. He has a Legacy Axe, Attack Speed Excel, as you can see, and a new Potent skill. There's actually two new Potent skills on this banner. So Legacy Axe gives a -1 cooldown for allies within 3 rows, 3 columns centered on unit, grants +5 attack and speed, and neutralizes penalties. And then if unit initiates combat is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants bonus to all of his stats equal to the number of allies within 3 rows, 3 columns centered on unit, times 3 +5, maximum 14 if number of spaces, so basically like a clash effect, of whoever initiated combat is greater than or equal to 3, value is treated as 14 automatically. He neutralizes penalties on units. Wait, didn't he already do that? Oh no, that's for his allies, never mind. Yeah, unit deals the flat damage output plus X times 5, maximum 25, X equals the number of bonuses active on unit, excluding stat bonuses, and the number of penalty effects active on the foe, excluding stat penalties, excluding AoEs. Grants special cooldown count -Y, so he has special jumping like crazy before units first attack, and grants the special cooldown count -Y before units first follow-up attack during combat. Y equals 50% of the number of spaces, so clash effect, classic for a cavalier like him, and it's rounded down before first attack and up before follow-up attack, and also of units HP. So yeah, he has miracle as well, so it's kind of similar to his Brave version that also got a pretty underrated weapon refine. I don't really see Brave Self enough, or I don't see him as much as he was common back in the day when he first released, but this is kind of like a modern version of Brave Seliph that's an axe unit. He has Haste Slice, that's going to give him damage reduction and more special cooldown jump before his first attack, so he's just going to be able to trigger specials like crazy. Haste Slice is going to be no problem. Attack Speed Excel, standard, the new best skill for a lot of units. And then Potent Assault is the new Potent skill. If unit initiates combat within 2 spaces of an ally, inflicts speed defense -4 on the foe, deals true damage 20% of the greater speed or defense, excluding AoEs, and then also has the damage reduction halving during combat. And also he has the Potent effect, so that is going to be strong, of course, because Potent Assault and Potent is, it's, you can outsource it now from like Legendary Era and stuff, but if you don't have Legendary Era, then you can use this skill. So I assume this is going to be allowed for only Cavaliers. I mean, maybe someone else too, but there is also another Potent skill that we'll get to. And then he comes with Air of Light, which is similar to his Brave version, which I think was named similarly, if I remember correctly. That also gives him the +1 movement. So this one gives you Canto, Distant +1, maximum 4, which is incredible Canto. And when he Cantos, he has Shadow Shift. So you can use Reposition on an ally. So that's built into this. That's amazing. And start a turn if units within 2 spaces of an ally, grants no follow-up. Incited. So that's something else that his Brave version did not have. Incited status is great because that gives you more stats, attack and speed, depending on the number of spaces, which is perfect for his weapon and his A slot. So just tons of stats that he's going to get the more that he moves. And he gives it to himself and his allies for 1 turn, and then grants the unit can move 1 extra space to... Wow, he also gives it to his allies, the extra movement, not just himself. So any sword, lance, axe, infantry, or should I say sword, lance, axe, infantry, and flying allies. So that's incredible for flying allies. That's especially good within 2 spaces for 1 turn. And then there is the incited status. Basically, if unit initiates combat within... Actually, no. This is different. If unit initiates combat within 2 spaces of an ally, grants bonus to attack and speed equal to the number of spaces, so like the clash effect, +5, maximum 9, and then reduces the damage from the foe's first attack by 7. So flat damage reduction, and that includes the brave hits, and then also restores 7 HP. So this Seliph is going to be a monster, definitely going to be annoying for sure. Like I said, kind of like a modern version of Brave Seliph. That's an axe unit that has pretty much everything that Brave Seliph has, except better. He has the miracle, he has the stats, he has the flat damage output, he's got a little bit of damage reduction, he's got the support, he's got the no follow-up, extra movement. So yeah, this Seliph is going to be crazy, and here he is taking out Rafal, who is a relatively new unit, and he's also red. And then, there's the miracle coming in. I think that's miracle, living with 1 HP. Haze Slice is going to be amazing just to hit hard and have the special jumping, and he has a lot of that. So that is Groom Seliph looking clean, and he's going to be a problem when he is on a team for sure. And the next hero on the banner is going to be Larcei, Bride Larcei, the bride of Astra, Aira's daughter, and she's drawn by Asatani Tomoyo, one of the best artists in the game in my opinion. She's a lance infantry this time, and she comes with a potent skill of her own, and she's also one of Seliph's romance options. So as we've had in, you know, bridal banners in the past, you know, like Roy's, for example, they pick the romance options for one of the main characters, and this banner is kind of like Seliph's turn. So Larcei is one of the romance options for him. She comes with Brilliant Brident. That is a hilarious name. Is that a trident plus bride? I don't even know if that's a word, but that's a hilarious name. That's a brilliant name, should I say. -1 cooldown. At the start of turn, if she's alive, inflicts speed defense -7, exposure, and discord on closest foes. That's really good for just, you know, dealing more damage and crippling teams that are grouped up together too much, and also having that debuff. So that's a really easy support that she can give out. And then at the start of combat, if she's alive, grants bonus to all of her stats equal to the number of foes within 3 rows per column centered on unit. So like Seliph, times 3 plus 5, maximum 14, deals true damage 20% of her speed, reduces damage from the foe's first attack by 20% of her speed, so that's flat damage reduction including the brave hits, and also reduces damage from foe's specials by 20% of unit speed during combat. And also, if Potent Follow has triggered, then X equals 90, or X less than or equal to 99, then X equals 100. So, hold on. Yeah, so she gets the full potent hit, if I'm reading that right. So that's good. Simple weapon, but very effective. And then, of course, Crusader's Astra. You can't have any kind of, you know, Astra character without having Astra on them, you know, any of Aira's bloodline. So Crusader's Astra, I think this is the same as, is this the same as Legendary Aira? I have to check my game. As someone who does have a +10 Legendary Aira on accident, if you guys saw my Dual Marth summons. Is that the same? I feel like it is the same. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, so this is an amazing special. That's, you know, Aira's bloodline only, I suppose. So when special triggers, boost damage by 40% of her speed, and also stops the damage reduction skills, and then grants special cooldown count -1 before units first attack, and before if each of units follow-up attacks during combat, and when special is triggered during a follow-up attack, prevents foe specials that are triggered by units attack. So amazing defensively, amazing offensively, because Larcei here is going to hit hard, just like her mom, and also trigger her specials, and just, you know, double obviously with her high speed, and then also have that 40% damage reduction. So Crusader's Astra on a unit like her is amazing. Perfect attack speed to give you the null follow-up, and of course more attack and speed. And then here is the new potent skill, or the other new potent skill, Potent Finish. This is going to inflict speed defense -4 on the foe, reduce damage from the foe's attacks by 7, and then also if unit special is ready or unit special triggered before or during this combat, you deal +15 true damage during combat. +15 true damage is not commonly seen, but that's definitely good. You definitely need more true damage in this meta, and you already have true damage from her weapon, so that's going to stack. And then you also have 7 HP healing, and then the Potent Follow effect, of course. So this potent is good for sure, for just like pure offensive units. It doesn't give you any damage reduction compared to the normal potent skill, but it's arguably better just for more damage, obviously. It also gives you healing, so that's great. And then Brutal Tempest is also what her legendary mom had. That's amazing for the extra movement, and that seems to be the theme of the banner, at least for the first 2 units here. And then also the Canto Distant +1 maximum 4, which is incredible Canto. So yeah, Larcei here is going to work really, really well as a Lance Infantry nuke, and obviously can work in the mix phase, but I think she's going to be the best in the player phase for sure. And she can also give that support with exposure and discord. And here she is taking out Larather, and it's not the biggest deal that she's taking out Larather, because I'm going to be honest, Larather is not the best tank. He's more, you know, known and better for just his assigned decoy cheese, but he is still pretty bulky at the end of the day, and Larcei's going to take him out with ease. So there she is. Definitely a cute ult for her, and Larcei fans are eating. And there's her stats right there, 48 base speed with balanced defenses and high attack. And then next up we have Tine, or Tine. I don't even know how to say her name correctly, so I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. I am a Tale 2 fan. I don't know how to say her daughter's name. But she's a Red Tome Cavalier this time. And she's going to be the demote, as you can tell. Bridal Bouquet is her weapon. For allies within 3 rows, 3 columns centered on unit, grants +5 attack and speed, and then also has the buff nullification. If unit initiates combat within 2 spaces of an ally, grants +5 to all the stats, and also has the... actually, I keep reading it wrong. So the first part's just for allies. This part's for himself, so the same thing basically. And you also deal +X damage during combat. X equals the number of allies within 3 rows, 3 columns centered on unit times 5. So that is one of the themes of this banner, 3 rows, 3 columns. So that's a pretty solid red tome you can give to people. Moonbow attack speed catch, and then speed res far trace 4, which is a premium skill. So I'm glad that they're giving these demotes, you know, tier 4 skills at least. That's solid. So Tail 2 is going to be a nice, you know, kind of 4-star demote that you can, what am I saying, kind of, she is the demote, the seasonal demote of this banner. So you can definitely plus 10 her, though, you know, Mage Cavaliers have a lot of competition, so she's not going to be the best, obviously, being the demote, but you can give her Arcane Blood Gang. She has high speed, high attack, low defense, you know, pretty much the stats you expect from a mage like her. And the duo hero of this banner is going to be Bride Julia and Ishtar. Definitely interesting pairing, and they're drawn by Hakan, who is a bit of an underappreciated artist in this game, in my opinion. And they are a cardless infantry mage. So, to my knowledge, they've never interacted in the games. I could be wrong. My Yugdralt knowledge isn't the best, but I don't think they've ever interacted. So, correct me if they have, but they do have a connection with Julius, at least. So, Loving Bouquets is the weapon, and this weapon is cool because it combines Julia and Ishtar's, you know, weapon effects in the past. So effectiveness against dragon foes, that's Julia's thing. -1 cooldown for allies within 3 rows for a calm centered on unit, which is the theme of this banner for pretty much every weapon. Grants attack res +5, buff nullification, and the special cooldown count -1 jump before allies first attack. And then at the start of combat, if they're alive, inflicts penalty on foes attack res equal to 20% of units res at the start of combat +6. Buff nullification, you deal the +X flat damage output. And then you also have the flat damage X reduction, and this is going to be X equals is depending on the number of allies in 3 rows for calm centered on unit times 5, maximum 15. You have the null guard, and then also the brave hits if your res is greater than or equal to the foe's res +10, which is Ishtar's thing with the brave hit. So that's really cool. You know, the stat check is going to be pretty easy for them, you know, at least for now, because the res is going to be really high, and they can obviously stack it by a ton, and you inflict penalty on the foe's attack and res, so it's really easy to meet that res check for the most part. And then here's your special Ice Wall. This is going to boost damage by 70% of units res. When special triggers, this is going to hit like a truck from Julia here. And then if unit or foe's special is ready, or unit or foe's special triggered before or during this combat, and also if units res, so there's another res check, greater than or equal to foe's res -10, you reduce damage from the foe's next attack by 40%. So that is nice. So I think the best part is definitely the damage it does, because 70% of your res is no joke. I mean, what am I talking about? Glacies does more than that, I think, right? Glacies does 80. Never mind, I take that back. But the damage reduction is nice for sure. So Ice Wall, I'm not sure how common this is going to be on mages, but this is definitely a nice option for really high res mages. Attack res finish 4, that is going to be nice. I mean, it's, you know, finish skills are pretty much never bad, so that's good. We have another unit with attack res finish 4, and then she comes with full light and dark, which is what Julia has, you know, with her PRFB. At start of player phase or enemy phase, inflicts attack res -7, sabotage, and schism, so we're getting more schism effects, so that's cool. On foes with res less than units res that are within 2 spaces of another foe through the next actions. After start turn, skills trigger on units player phase if the number of foes with a sabotage effect is active on the map is greater than or equal to 2. Grants the guaranteed follow-up attack during combat and Canto 1 to unit and allies within 2 spaces of unit for 1 turn. So, you know, that's nice. It's nothing crazy. Canto 1 and guaranteed follow-up attack are solid. I mean, you can get Canto from Sigurd Ring and just other units that can give the Canto support. And the guaranteed follow-up attack is not the greatest thing in the world nowadays. It can be useful, but there's just no follow-up everywhere and stuff. But yeah, that's still nice. Inflicts penalty on foes attack res equal to the number of foes with the sabotage effect active on the map. So there is another sabotage trigger or condition there, including target times 3 + 5, maximum 14, deals true damage 20% of res, excluding AoEs, reduces damage from the foe's attacks by 20% of units res, and then also reduces damage from, so you have damage reduction piercing, and then you also have the adaptive damage, or sorry, disables foe's attack, so you disable adaptive damage, so that's good. So they're not going to be able to hit you on the defensive side as hard, because they're going to be able to target, you know, normally your res or whatever, if they have Hexblade. And then Time Pulse Helm, we've seen before, that's going to help your specials trigger and then also give you more stats. So yeah, pretty good. They're pretty straightforward for the most part. I mean, nothing like game breaking or anything, but they are going to be nice to have just as a really bulky mage nuke that can also take out a Toon Hector. And even though Julia here isn't doing the most damage, you know, Hector ate that up with 4 damage, Ice Wall is going to trigger and, you know, deal some more damage, which isn't enough, obviously, but because Julia and Ishtar here can quad and double with the brave hits, you know, their damage is going to be deceptively strong, because sometimes damage reduction is only on the first hit sometimes, and just getting more hits is always good for the most part. So Julia is going to be, kind of a slept-on nuke, I think. And then she actually doesn't even have that low of a defense stat. It's 33, which isn't the highest, but also isn't the worst. I expected it to be lower. Their speed is very low, so that is, I guess I mean, Julia's never been that slow, has she? I guess her fallen version's been kind of slow. But if Ishtar was the lead, then it would be different. Then her speed would be high. But yeah, Julia, like I said, going to be kind of an underrated nuke and definitely has some value on teams. I mean, cardless mage infantry units aren't that common. There isn't really that many like really strong ones that you see often. So yeah, that is Bridal Julia. Actually, they have their duo button. I forgot to go over that, which we'll see right here. Empathy, you give that to yourself and your allies, and also special cooldown count -1. So that is pretty solid. Empathy is just more stats pretty much, which is always, nice to have for the most part. It can come in clutch. And yeah, so Bridal Julia, definitely amazing art. I mean, overall, the art on this banner is really lovely, as you might expect from a lovely and love-related banner. So Yugdralt fans, good luck for summoning. And, this is your banner pretty much. I guess this kind of deconfirms them to be on summer banners, because Yugdralt, along with Valencia, is the only Fire Emblem games that don't have summer alts. So I guess rip to that. But, this is your banner. So I'm happy for the Yugdralt fans and my Yugdralt mutes and friends. Mutual, should I say. But yeah, that's the banner, guys. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm not going to be summoning, but good luck to everyone who is. Like I've been saying, leave a like if you enjoyed listening to me ramble as usual. Please stay safe out there. Peace out.